Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, depending on when you're watching this video. My name is Justin Villareno, and I want to thank you for joining me in my kitchen today. Have you ever been to a barbecue, potluck, or a sporting event, and people are eating food, and they've asked the question, man, who cooked this? Well, today I'm going to teach you how to cook something that you can be that person that they're talking about. Today I'm going to teach you how to cook buffalo chicken cheese dip. The ingredients that you're going to need for this recipe: chicken breast, 3 bags of cheddar cheese, 16 ounces of ranch dressing, 12 ounces of Texas Pete hot sauce or Louisiana hot sauce, just to add a little kick to it. Now remember, you want to have just a little kick. You don't want to have the fire department coming to put the fire out in people's mouths. So something light like Texas Pete or Louisiana hot sauce would do just fine. You also want to have 8 ounces of cream cheese and your favorite tortilla chips. Or if you want to be extra special, you can go to your local supermarket, Walmart, Food Lion, or the commissary if you're in the military, and get a bread bowl. Now, this isn't a bread bowl, this is a twisted sweet bread. This is all they had at the Next. But I'm going to show you something nifty that you can do that'll kind of bring a nice picture to your display. Welcome back. First thing you're going to want to do is you're going to want to grill your chicken. Now what I've done already is I've already pre-seasoned my chicken. You don't have to season your chicken, but I like to season my chicken because I like a different taste to come out of it. So after you're done seasoning it, you're going to want to transfer it over to your skillet or frying pan. And make sure that you have a cover that fits your frying pan, because what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to cook it and keep a lot of the moisture in the inside of it, so that way when it's done cooking, it's easier to break apart and mix in with the cheese. The key to keeping as much moisture inside the chicken as possible while you're cooking it is to make sure that you use tongs. Some people like using forks to stick it in and flip the chicken and everything like that. But every time that you stick the fork inside the chicken, it creates little holes and allows moisture to escape as it's cooking. Now, while the chicken is cooking, I like to take care of getting the cheese, ranch dressing, and the hot sauce mixed up together and have that prepped and ready to go for when the chicken comes off. The chicken usually takes about 30 to 45 minutes to cook on medium heat. You're going to want to check on it every, I'd say 10 minutes or so, to make sure you're flipping it and cooking it evenly and everything like that. So the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to take the cream cheese and put it in my mixing bowl, and I'm going to put it in the microwave for probably about 45 seconds. Putting it in the microwave softens it up a little bit and allows it to mix a little bit easier in with some of the cheese and everything else that you're mixing in with. Now I've mixed up the cheeses, the hot sauce, and the ranch dressing. Now, I didn't use the whole bottle of hot sauce. Some people like to use a full bottle of it, but it's also going to be based depending on the crowd of people that you're going to be feeding. Some people don't like too much of a spicy taste in their dip. Some people like a spicier taste. So it's going to be all about what your personal preference is of how much hot sauce you're going to add. The other thing about it is, when you're adding your ranch dressing in, you want to be mindful of how much you're adding in, because if you add too much, it'll be a little too soupy. If you add less, the chicken and cheese and everything, once it comes together, it's going to end up hardening up too much, and when you try and dip chips into it, it's going to break off. I judge the readiness of my chicken based off of the texture and dexterity of it. If you pick it up with the tongs and it starts to fall apart, then you know that your chicken is done, especially for this dip. All right, so now that the chicken is done, what you're gonna wanna do is you're gonna wanna take 2 forks and you're gonna wanna shred the chicken apart. Now that all of the chicken is shredded, it's gonna look just like this. What you're gonna wanna do is now you're gonna wanna add it in with the cream cheese, the cheddar cheese, the hot sauce, and the ranch dressing. You're gonna mix it all together, and then you're gonna put it right back in this baking dish to throw it in the oven. Okay, so I just put the cheese dip in the oven. Now what you're going to want to do is you're going to put it in the oven for about 15 to 20 minutes on 375. Really the only thing that you want to do is you're putting it in there so that all the cheese and everything melts together. Right before I put it in, when I mixed the chicken and all the cheeses together, I added one last layer of cheddar cheese and sprinkled it on top with also a layer of Texas Pete hot sauce. Now while that's in the oven cooking, I'm setting up my bread bowl. So I previously, you seen me cut it out earlier, and what I did is I took the portion that was cut out and I cut it into small little pieces. And what I did was I put it in the oven. What you'll do is you'll brush a light coat of butter over the top of it, and then you'll put it in the oven and just let it broil, so that way it kind of toasts up the bread and it kind of hardens everything up. And then what I'm doing is now I'm setting this on the plate that I'm going to use to display for my guests when they arrive. And this is what the finished product does when you bring it out of the oven. Like I said, it's the bread bowl, put the cheese dip on the inside of it. You can also have your chips off to the side that you can use to dip in, and then there's the bread knots on the side that people can use to dip in as well. Thank you very much for joining me in my home. I hope that you enjoyed this informative tutorial for this recipe of buffalo chicken cheese. Now you try this dip and become the next person that everyone's talking about at your next social gathering, potluck, or sporting event. Thanks.